All right, here with one of my customers, Mark. He is actually the first customer I've ever had that has done something that I've actually been really intrigued by. But these headlights used to be completely fogged over, and then we'll also show his Honda over here too. He had them done. And so recently I actually reached out to a body shop and asked about if they were capable of re-clear coating the headlight. Now, this is different than if you have a detailer person buff the headlights. They'll sand them, polish them, and put some sort of coating on them. But this, what you see right here, is actually re-clear coated. So they've been sanded proper, and then re-clear coated with a what is called a 2K clear coat, which is the kind of clear coat that is used on the body panels. So it's got the right amount of hardness, which is one of the most important things, and UV protection. And so as we step back here, you can see these look almost, well, they actually look brand new. You would almost not even, unless you saw these tiny little spots up here where you can tell it's the original assembly, but the actual clarity of the plastic here, you would never know. Now you might wonder, well, why do I want to do this instead of have them buffed or replaced? And Mark, what was it like driving this?
Oh, dude, I did a lot of night driving, and it was like someone had those chimpy flashlights. If it was a black road, it was just pitch black. You could barely tell that there was lights on.
And you can barely see a light pattern. Probably gets worse when it rains.
Yeah, if it rains or the road is wet, it's like you're driving into nothingness.
Yeah. Now the hard part, a lot of people don't realize, is when your headlights start to fog over, we've all seen different levels of you can see a little bit. Usually you start to get it up here because the sun's more direct right here on the top. But over a long period of time, kind of like with when your health declines, you just don't quite realize how bad it's getting until one day you're like, this sucks. And
like,
so,
wow, is there even a headlight? Like sometimes I had to turn the brights on just to make sure my headlights were even like on.
Yeah, they actually working.
Or I'd get out and like, is one of them burned out? And you're like, nope, they just really suck.
So let's go over here to the Honda, because actually Mark, real quick, how much was it to have the body shop re-clear coat both headlights?
$177.
And that is the headlight. Now, if you're in the Rexburg area, he had Christensen Auto Body do it. Really, any auto body shop that's reputable can do this, because sanding and clear coating is part of the normal body shop experience. But what matters is using the correct clear coat, which they will, because they're a body shop. You can't just go buy regular generic plastic clear coat, because that's what's called a 1K, and it is not quite the same. It'll look okay for a little while, but it will start to fade and look kind of funny and maybe yellow. So what matters is 2K, which means it's a two-part clear coat, which has a hardener in it, and then the clear coat itself has that UV protection, which is what you want, because it's the UV that gives you the protection. Now, real quick before we go to the Honda, to show you the Honda, and again, I'll show you some pictures of what it looks like, what these look like before they got them redone, and you're going to be pretty surprised. Now, the reason why you might wonder, well, what's the problem when you first have the headlights, let's say, like what they call headlight restoration. Well, what happens in order to get that nice clarity is you have to sand it really, really smooth. Use 800, then 1,000 grit, then 2,500, and then even as high as 5,000 to get that super, super smooth. Well, all that sanding removes any UV protection that would have come from the factory. Now you have to then replace that somehow. Now, you'll see some of these companies or detailing outfits, and this is not anything against detailers, but that what they apply is kind of like applying wax to your hood. It applies on, has some protection, and then it eventually wears out. This here, what's been clear coated, is part of the headlight now, and the only way to ruin it is either bust the headlight or sand it up again and go back to square one. So now back to where we were with the headlights, and the reason why I know the pricing on this Honda is because I actually quoted out another customer on replacing his, or having his headlights clear coated. So yellowed and fogged over that actually, this is Mark's wife's, she mainly drives this, and she said she used to have to drive with the fog lights on, and before they got them re-clear coated. And cost was about the same on these, I assume.
Yeah, almost identical.
Yeah, the body shop said it's case specific, because some vehicles they can do this with the headlights in. Sometimes they have to remove them, and then also depends on the size of the headlight. Now, one thing on this headlight, let's look at cost comparison. You might have a headlight restoration that's like 50 or 60 bucks. You know, someone that knows how to sand it well. Now, from what I could find, good aftermarket headlight assembly from O'Reilly's or Napa, from TYC or Depot, would ended up about being 220 or 230 a piece. So 220 to 230 for that, and then another 220 and 230 for that headlight over there. I guess what I assumed was a decent Chinese version or knockoff off Amazon was 220 for the pair. Now here's where it also starts to add up. These headlights, you have to pull the bumper off. So then there's the added labor to pull the bumper off, get the headlight out, and then you have to decide, do I want to replace all the bulbs when I'm already in there? You know, to save, because you're already there. Who knows when the last time they went out. So there's that cost factor, and then you have to get the headlight aimed. Now, the reason why I already can see that it's much more cost effective to pay a little bit more than your standard headlight restoration fee, because again, we have the hardness, and then we have the proper UV protection. Now one thing to note, I don't know if you can see, we may not even be able to see it on my camera. There's still tiny little micro cracks that run side to side.
This one shows it a lot better. And
then this one, maybe I can get a reflection. If you can see it, now you will see there is actually a large crack right here, but what's cool is this is everything you see here is on the inside, and that's the only consideration to think of when you get this done. Now the nice thing is this crack you can still see it, but it's been smoothed out. And so, but all in all, I was actually just speaking with Mark's wife, and she said, wow, what a difference in the beam, the light pattern, not feeling like you have to use your fog lights. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And in fact, that's just something that is, I didn't even think about it. I knew people that have bought in a can of 2K clear coat out at O'Reilly's. It's about 30 bucks a can. And they will sand it down themselves, re-clear it, and then it's pretty much the same thing because it's still a two-part. But I didn't even think about, can I call up a body shop and ask them and see what they have to say. If they're like, hey, can you re-clear coat my headlights? And they're like, yeah, what's the vehicle? Here's your cost. We'll have it done within a day or two, depending on how busy they are.
My wife pulled up the morning of, and she drove out like 2 hours later.
Oh,
like it was like done.
Yeah, I mean that's this type of we call body work is grade school level for these guys, because this is all smooth. There's no weird body contours here and whatnot. They can knock this out so fast, and so really that's the thing to consider. That's why I highly recommend wherever you're at, if you want your headlights, re-clear coated, these look brand new. That's something that you can look, and obviously it looks good. But think about all those things. See, for me, my problem with replacing the whole headlight assembly is because you have to remove the bumper, and I don't like disturbing those kinds of things on these kind of cars, because you have to come in here, you have to undo screws up in here, you have to like pop the back over here on the side. This has to like pop out, and then you have to undo the headlights down, the fog lights down here, and then you get the bumper up, the front bumper skin off, and it's all plastic, and it just makes the better. You're always better off if you can just do things and leave it undisturbed.
So I forgot to tell you, so this is the third set of headlight things we've done in the last couple months. My son just got a car, was used, and one of the headlights was cracked. So like this one has the crack was repairable basically. His was cracked, and like they had tape over
busted
it.
in.
Pieces of the plastic were missing. So we got some aftermarket pieces for his. He drives a Dodge Avenger, and we had to pull the whole front off. And it took 2 people 2 hours.
It's the worst.
To pull it off, pull out the old ones, put the new ones in, get it all put back, and then it all bolted back into place. So that was 4 man-hours.
Yep.
Plus, we had to buy the pieces, and I just, at the end of that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I'm just going to take my truck and have someone else do it.
Yeah, unless you want to do it as like a fun hobby type thing. You know, the cost difference between buying new, especially on this type of vehicle, because the nice thing is even if the body shop had to take these out to clear coat them, well, that's for them to do, and they're expert. And
they have all the pieces. They break one of the little plastic connectors on the inside. They just go over their toolbox, pull another one out, put it back in.
Blah, blah, blah.
Their job is to make it look nice.
The nice thing also is about this is they can take out the assembly and they can put it right back in. They don't need to re-aim it. They don't need to, because I can guarantee you the quality of plastic and the housing and all of that is far superior than anything aftermarket made. Now, there's different levels of aftermarket, but nothing will compete with the OEM, and I don't even want to know what one of these costs directly from Honda. Yeah, so anyway, so that is just a quick, I just wanted to share with you. Honestly, I have never heard anybody else mention, in all the years I've done car work and talked to people, I've even done a few headlight restorations myself in my own vehicles, and they're kind of okay and subpar. But now after seeing this, Mark is honestly, he was kind of my guinea pig. I kind of told him about it, and I, thankfully was able to kind of do the sale for him. I didn't make any money off it. This is purely a recommendation because I felt like this was going to be a far easier thing to do than buying a new set of headlights. And so far, Mark, are you satisfied?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now we're going to have to obviously wait for like 6 months to really see how it pans out, but we really don't need to, because obviously they sanded them the best they could, and the clear coat that they use is really,
it's commercial grade. Like, I can't buy the stuff they use. Like there's
well, you could, but it's really expensive.
Yeah, well,
because it comes in a can, and like I said, it's like $30, and then you kind of have your shot. Once you, if you don't know, a 2K can will have a little plunger thing at the bottom that you like push up, and that starts to mix the hardener and the clear together, and you have to like shake it up. And then the clock is ticking. You have to use it, and then you've got to get it all sprayed done and sprayed right on the car on both sides, however many coats you want to do, and then after a certain amount of time, that can is like expired because you've mixed the hardener with the clear coat. So that was just a quick tip for you. And like I said, if you're around Rexburg, call Christensen Auto Body, or you can call really any of the other auto body shops. Really, anyone that has a professional auto body shop, call them up. Get a quote. It is going to vary a little bit on vehicle depending on like I said, some vehicles have really contoured, they got the headlight bulges right here for whatever reason, and then also depending on if they need to remove the headlight. But it makes a huge difference when you just have nice crystal clear headlights. So that's your tip for the day. Unfortunately, that's not a service that MotorMind can really do for anyone, but as always, I try to offer my best recommendations to just help my customers have continually good experiences with their car, and not being able to see at night is one of the worst things to have to deal with. And so for $170, and obviously for curb appeal, because anytime you go look at a car, that's one of the first things: tires, headlights, how does those weird things that you just happen to notice on any car. So that's all for today. See you in the next video.